It blew my mind when I thought of this, because I know of some fairly successful people that are wildly immature, but they're not successful in ways that I think most people would actually want to be successful. They look really successful, but I don't think they feel successful. And I think the people around them know that behind the scenes, they're actually a different person than they show in front of the scenes.
So I actually do believe you can be very successful in one narrow area while being emotionally immature. I do not believe that you can be holistically successful in health, wealth, life, and love, both externally and internally, unless you are more emotionally mature.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2058, you can't outperform your emotional maturity. Or maybe you can in one silo based on what Alan said there. I feel like the reason I think this is a valuable topic, the reason I think this is worth talking about, is because when we think of quote-unquote success, I think most people think of arrival. So you have arrived, and there's no longer any work to do. My thought process is, every time you get to a new level, you get a new level of feedback, you have to take a new level of responsibility, you have to take a new level of ownership, you have to have a new level of maturity. You and I, we've been talking about this a lot recently, where like you and I don't really, yeah, we joke and we giggle on the podcast all the time, but behind the scenes, we're very serious. Yeah. And we take things very seriously. And yeah, when times get hard, I try to make Alan laugh because that always makes life easier. But I'm convinced the reason that we have gotten to like this very specific level we're at right now is because you and I have gotten way more mature over the last quarter. We're way more mature in May than we were in January. And I think when we get feedback, we're handling it more maturely. When we have tough conversations, we're handling it more maturely. I don't think you can get beyond the level you're at without being more mature. I don't think it's sustainable to do that. That's my thought.
You know what I just thought of?
What did you think of?
What movie is it where it's an Adam Sandler movie.
Uh-huh.
I'll give you a Grown Up. Is it Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison?
Is it Grown Ups?
No, definitely not.
That would be red on the nose if it was.
It's like, oh, Grow Up, I'll give you a Grown Up or something like that. Anyways, I don't know why my brain just went there. One of the biggest challenges that I've been facing as a business coach is how do I be myself, but also be taken seriously? Emilia and I on the Conscious Couples podcast, you and I on this podcast, we're very playful. We're joking, we're laughing, we're fun.
But do you think that's different than emotional maturity?
I don't think that we're emotionally immature when we're doing that. I don't. I think it's sometimes can be seen. It's very hard to be seen. So I'm someone who, I have certain clients that are multimillionaires and I'm trying to help them grow. One of my clients is going to hit 3 million this year. It's very hard to fuck around with you on this podcast and talk about Uranus like you did on the last episode and laugh at that and also be seen as this prepubescent, semi-intelligent, it's hard. People put you in a box.
Yeah.
You're either really smart or really funny. You're either really in shape or really driven. That was bad. But that was inaccurate is what that was, because you have to be driven to be in shape. That's what I said in the last episode. The point is everyone puts you in kind of a... So you were the funny guy.
Still
For
am.
a long time, you were the funny guy, and you still are. But here's the deal. You just got a client that pays a wild amount of money per month to make sure that we take their work seriously and that the scope of work gets done and it gets done well every single time. How do you be taken really seriously but not lose the authenticity of, I love the fact that you're funnier when times are hard. I think that's great. I actually think one of the reasons why we've been able to endure so much pain and suffering on this journey is because you're funnier when we're struggling. But I don't know if behind the scenes people understand how serious this is. And I've been realizing this lately. I did the monthly meetup last night, 2 nights ago, if you're listening to this, 3 nights ago, if you're listening to this, because this is now Sunday.
This is Monday.
This is Monday. Okay.
4 nights ago.
It was last Thursday. When I start talking about NLU from the inside out, the metrics, everything's tracked. Everything's by design. The inside out is very serious. Very serious. To apparently a drastic extent, like more than people think. And some of the team members have said that to me behind the scenes. I said, what did you think we were from the outside in? And then, what do you think now? And they're like, oh my God. I mean, I never thought in a million. Oh, okay. So from the outside in, we look playful and fun and funny. But dude, from the inside out, we don't miss. We can't. We will not miss. And I'm trying to figure out how to... The Conscious Couples podcast is really hard for me too, because Emilia and I are very serious. We have a very serious relationship, but we also are fun. We dance. We listen to Disney songs together. I am so playful with her. It's not even funny. I mean, we're constantly laughing. And I literally went into her office earlier today and I kind of put on this sort of playful, yes, would you like to dance? And that's all fun, but that's behind the scenes. And then all of a sudden we're on the mics and we're all serious. And it's annoying for me because our relationship is 10 times better behind the scenes than it is in the front of the scenes. You and I's business is 10 times more serious behind the scenes than it looks from the outside in. And I think that I want to be authentic everywhere. That's not what I'm saying, but I do think this is a very big challenge. And so I don't know if that's the point of the episode, but emotional maturity sometimes can seem overly professional. I think emotional maturity in real life is you can play with your ego. We can joke about certain things. Kevin and I in the past, we would sort of put our arms up and flex
on them.
And we're playful with that. There are some people that actually do that thinking we really are trying to show off. They actually think that you're doing that. And I mean, whatever, right? That's just what they do. But other people have done that were maybe less mature, and it's, oh, you don't understand. And the ladies in the room, they can tell that we're being playful, whereas other people are actually like that. You know, and I think that emotional maturity is something that's hard to put your finger on and hard to develop.
Well, even if it's, I guess my perspective and what I'm trying to come at it from is how do you respond? How do you emotionally respond to things? As opposed to, imagine giving a child... You ever seen Richie Rich?
I actually haven't. I know that you've referenced that many times. I don't know why I haven't seen it. That seems like a movie I would have seen as a kid.
Yeah, I feel like you'd enjoy it.
Still?
It's been a long... Probably. It's silly, but I'm sure
I watched Home Alone over the holidays. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's a great fucking movie.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I like the first one better. I do.
Yes, first one's definitely the GOAT.
It is the GOAT.
Second one, they kind of reeled it in, and then 3rd through 7th or 15, whatever number they're on, they were just like...
I never saw anything past 2.
Of course not. No, that's good. You shouldn't. Don't waste your time. Macaulay Culkin, the second he left, everything left. But he's Richie Rich. Macaulay Culkin's Richie Rich. Pretty freaking mature for a little kid in that movie. Had to be. He's Richie fucking Rich. Gotta be. He's got to be pretty emotionally mature.
What does that mean?
He's super wealthy. His family's super wealthy. And like, there's one scene where they're playing baseball and the helicopter comes and picks him up. Like the helicopter lands in the middle of the field to pick him up or drop him off, one of the two. It's like, cool, good for you. But his parents, I think, get kidnapped. I might be making all this up. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I think his parents get kidnapped and he has to save them. He is super emotionally mature in that movie.
Nice.
So let's say that something happened and his family didn't come home and he didn't save them. He would be way more capable of handling that money and that fame and that wealth than I would have been at his age because I was not emotionally mature. So that I'm talking more from the perspective of you get a level 6 opportunity. If you're not level 6 mature, you can't handle level 6 feedback. You don't get to level 7. And if you do get to level 7, you can't handle the feedback, so everything just collapses. I don't think you can consistently outperform your emotional maturity because the feedback you're going to get, the workload, whatever it is, the opportunities, you're gonna screw it up if you don't take it seriously. You ever had a client who like had a really big opportunity, but they didn't take it seriously and they dropped the ball? Of course.
I've done that too.
Same. Well, I'd rather talk about other people than me, but talk about me enough on the things I've done wrong.
I'll be the one to say it. I don't know why my voice is squeaking. I do believe that women statistically are more emotionally mature than men. And I will just say that. That is what I've seen. That is what I've witnessed.
I would concur.
And I believe there's a lot of reasons for that. Doesn't matter. I guess it does matter. Humility, self-reflection, constantly more self-aware, all this stuff. And I also think there's some biological components. I also think there's some, aka testosterone. I also think there's some cultural components. What I will say is that growing up, there's a lot of things I can say I did well. I don't think I was super emotionally mature. And again, I don't think I was less emotionally mature than other men. As a matter of fact, this is something we probably should touch on. If anyone out there watching or listening feels like something's different here, I can give you one of them. Kevin and I were both raised by women. We didn't have dads. I had a stepdad, but we didn't get along, and I didn't resonate. There wasn't a connection, really. Hello, NLU listener. Thank you, as always, for listening to Next Level University. Real quick, I just want to jump in and let you know about the Next Level Dreamliner. This is a journal that I use every single day. Achieve your dreams 90 days at a time. It breaks down your dreams into goals, milestones, and daily habits. We hope you enjoy it. The link will be in the show notes. So I was raised by my older sister and my mother. You were raised by your grandmother and your mother. And if something feels different here, I do think there's something to that. I still don't know how to put my finger on it. Like, I don't know what that is, but I do know I've been on other podcasts and I've been with certain clients and they're like, you're different. There's something different about you than other men. And I said, well, I was raised by women. I didn't have a dad. So I didn't have that, like, whatever that is, patriarchal upbringing. And I don't know what any of that means, honestly, but I do know that I do think, statistically speaking, I think we were probably a little bit more emotionally mature. I remember I would see tears. I never saw my stepdad cry, not a single time. I would see my mom cry, for sure. After a sad movie, she'd come in, she'd cry, that whole thing. And again, all of our parents do certain things really well, certain things not at all, some more than others. But that was one of the things that I thought my mom did well, which was show me that emotions are okay. And men, I don't think, are often taught that, especially back in the day. I think that's changing. I do. I coach several therapists. So interesting to say things like that. It's like, I coach several therapists. I never expected that, you know?
Well, yeah, dude.
That was just a moment for me. Yes. I coach many clinicians. But I think that therapy for men is a statistic that's definitely going up. Like, we're more percentage of men have therapists now, which is good.
Well, there's conversations happening about stuff that people didn't want to talk about before. Right? I think again, it's not the topic of the podcast, but such a big component of that is community. If I feel like I can't be vulnerable with you, then I'm not going to be vulnerable. If I'm not vulnerable with you, you're not going to know you can be vulnerable with me, and then we're not going to be vulnerable together, and then we're not going to feel safe talking about vulnerable stuff on a platform and blah, 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 blah. Now it's like you and I talk about it all the time, but that started with you and I feeling safe with each other. I feel like that's a super important thing. I had something I was going to say. Oh, definitely not emotionally mature when I was younger. No way. Like,
Same.
super Same. Emotionally immature. Again, that's
do you think
one of those...
more than most men or no? Because I don't think more than most men in hindsight. Like, if you're comparing to you now, of course, very emotionally immature. But compared to other people you grew up with, I would say more for me.
No, I don't know. Not until I was like... I mean, what age are we talking?
Yeah, I guess we'd do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Yeah, not until like 25. I don't think. I know I talk about this a lot, but like
Are you sure, man? You've been having deep conversations your whole life, have you not?
No, fuck no.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, it really sped up.
Never mind.
Really sped up when you and I started talking.
Yeah, I got you.
Before that, no, man. No, I was completely different before. I would say probably 25 is when it started. Because I really started thinking about, I tried to think from the perspective of other people as much as I thought of the perspective from me. And that helped me.
Kevin and I, every now and then, will look at old messages that we've sent.
Oh, that's brutal.
There was a woman that I dated. I say dated loosely. We hung out for a time and we were kind of dating, going on dates, not. And I looked at some of them. I was just, oh no. Some of the messages. I was like, dude, shut up. Shut your fucking mouth.
I feel like that.
Right?
Yeah, that's a really good example.
What are you, why are you fronting, man?
Because I thought that's what, I thought you had to be a little bit of an ass.
No, I wasn't an ass. It was just pretentious.
Well, that's what I mean. I think that's what people are kind of taught. It's like, well, you got to, mysterious. Keep it mysterious.
Yeah, keep it mysterious.
You always want her to think that could be out on any sign. It's like, I don't have any fucking prospects of love here. I need this relationship. What the fuck are you telling? What are you teaching?
I used to say nice guys always lose, but it's not because they're nice. And I always thought it was because they didn't have goals. Of course, that was my solution to everything.
Yeah, right.
I feel like when you have goals and you're driven, I feel like women tend to be attracted to that. And again, women listeners, if you guys want to chime in, reach out to us. But now I coach so many women and I understand our listeners. A lot of them are women. We've learned over many, many years the errors of our ways, and through experience, but also through just learning from all these people. I know we got to jump here. Emotional maturity is something that Emilia really, really, really got me to understand. Emotional adaptability, emotional regulation, breathing techniques, coping, numbing, all these different things. We had Tori Leto come to 2 of our events. She talked about all this. Numbing, all the different coping mechanisms for emotions. I've learned so fucking much about how to be an emotionally mature man from just being a part of the Conscious Couples podcast. Because we do relationship talks events every month and we present. And if you want the cheat code on how to succeed in an intimate relationship, it is emotional maturity. That is where I would fucking start. Like, that is the start. Because I've coached couples for 4.5 years now, almost 4.5. And a lot of times it's, again, I'm going to call a spade a spade. A lot of times the man is just emotionally mature. And that's a huge concern. And I have certain people that I know are listening that have really transformed through that. And their relationship is flourishing now. And of course it is, right? So for the ladies out there, try to communicate better, like the necessity of vulnerability. And just because you're vulnerable doesn't mean you're not strong. However, it doesn't mean that you need to be emotional all the time about everything. I heard this, last thing I know, I gotta go. I heard this on a clip recently. I thought it was very valuable. She said, we don't want you to be emotional all the time, like overly emotional, overly reactive, but we do want you to be vulnerable. There's a difference. There's a difference between being an emotional train wreck and being honest and sincere and vulnerable about something you're going through. And I think that the second one is strength. The first one is not. And again, that's another episode.
Well, I think that's a really good way to sum up emotional maturity. So I think it encapsulated this episode. Good sir. Was that your next level lesson? Damn. I was hoping I would have more time to think about mine. I would say this is one of the unsung heroes of growing. When you grow, you face hard truths in yourself, and I think then it's easier to handle uncertainty in uncertain situations, and that's what an argument often is feeling unseen or feeling uncertain or feeling a lot of things. But like, if you can take ownership and say, yeah, you know what? That's on me. I could have done better. Cool. Just make sure your partner's not always giving you the blame, because we've talked about that many times. So that's a whole other thing. All right. If you're looking for a group of like-minded people, join Next Level Nation. There is a gentle kick in the butt there every single day to help you get to the next level.
And if you want to be dialed in on fitness for spring and summer, Next Level Fitness Accountability Group, it's totally free. We tried putting the link in the show notes and we got a bunch of bots. Yes. So please click the link. There won't be a link. DM myself or Kevin on Instagram or email us, both of which will be in the show notes.
Boom. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep it next level. Next Level Nation.